welcome to Please Give Me an A podcast. My name is Catherine Cuellar, and joining me today is my co host, Leticia Rokowski. Today, we're diving into a big conversation in educational technology, comparing the two major frameworks, the T3 framework of innovation and the SAMR model.
Yep, that's right. Both of these frameworks aim to guide how technology is used in education, but they take very different approaches. The T3 framework, developed by Magana, focuses on how technology can enhance learning outcomes and drive innovation. Meanwhile, the SAMR model, created by Punterera, breaks technology integration into four stages, from simple substitution to complete redefinition of tasks.
So, which one is more effective? Which one is more practical for teachers to implement? And do these frameworks truly help students, or are they just another set of buzzwords in education? We'll be tackling these questions and more. So let's jump in.
So let's start with understanding the frameworks. You got any questions for me?
How does the SAMR framework define technology integration in the classroom? How does this compare to the T3 framework approach?
That's a good question. So the SAMR is stands for substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. This frameworks defines technology integration as a progressive model where technology use moves from basic substitution, replacing traditional tools without functional improvement, to full redefinition, creating new previously inconceivable learning experiences. SAMR, it like it emphasizes a transformation in teaching and learning, encouraging deeper technology use to enhance student engagement and achievement. Though, in contrast, the T3 framework, which is translational, transformational, and transcendent technology use, shifts focus from just integrating technology to leveraging it for deeper learning and societal impact. It moves beyond just enhancement and transformation, emphasizing student agency, creativity, and knowledge transfer to real world problem solving. So, to break it down, if we look at it comparison wise, SAMR is more linear and hierarchical. So, like, it has it has like guiding teachers step by step towards deeper technology integration. While like the
All right.
T3 is more holistic and student centered, prioritizing the active use of technology for innovation, problem solving, and social contribution. If I can add one more, I would say like the SAMR mainly assesses the level of technology used in a classroom, while T3 evaluates the effectiveness and the impact of technology on student learning. I guess that's where I would like draw a line and make the differences. But I can see both being really, really useful. What do you think?
Well, I was gonna answer that question with a question for you. Do you have any examples of that on like your end, at least?
Yeah, I can think of a couple examples. So let's like to break it down to the bare minimum. Um, SAMR is like how much technology is be using in the classroom. Your tablets, your computer time, um, and it's trying to amp that up. It's trying to have more of that time because it seems to have positive to have positive like contribution to the student. While the T3 is not necessarily focusing on that time that you have with technology, but more on how effective and impactful it can be on you. So, let's say there is software like ABC Mouse. Software on tablets for like kindergarten and pre-K, and it's actually a really effective app for helping students learn. So the T3 is going to have them have them increase that time with the mouse rather than just with the tablet. Um, so I guess those are the examples, some examples I can give right there.
That was a good answer.
Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. Okay, well, let me.
You deserve an A.
I'm gonna try to get an A. That's why this podcast is. Please give me an A podcast. Not trademarked yet, but probably. um, let me ask you a question, if that's all right. Let's talk about like the impact on learning and teaching with these modifications or the comparison. So if I say, let me think, can SAMR effectively measure the impact of technology on student learning, or does it mainly describe how technology is used? What do you think?
In my opinion, the framework can imply improvement and engagement or outcomes as teachers move up the SAMR ladder, but it doesn't offer specific tools or measuring these effects. Another thing I can think of when it comes to that
Mm-hmm.
is like the focus on technology levels. Like, while SAMR shows the progression of technology use basic uh, to advance, it doesn't also provide metrics to assuring its impacts of student learning.
I can see that.
Um,
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
yeah, I mean, also like kind of like there's pros and cons and everything, right? It's just trying to find like a balance between the two. Um, but I don't know. What do you think?
I think I think SMR can effectively measure impact of technology, but T3 does a better job of it. I'm gonna be honest. Like T3's whole focus is to measure and to see how impactful technology can be, while SAMR is more focused on how much you use technology. Um, it doesn't. I don't think SAMR is very descriptive about how it's used. But I can definitely see where you're going with this, and I can definitely agree with the pros and cons because wherever you go, you're gonna find the negatives and positives. Because in the end, all students are different, and everyone learns a different way, and so many methods and frameworks are gonna work for different students in different ways. In this case, we're just looking at like numerals, like statistics and logistics, and even data to see what works best. And maybe in this case, the T3, which also focuses on that, is going to focus on what works best, but it's not going to be perfect. Does that make sense? It just has the higher numbers, I think.
No, it does. It does, and I mean you are also like correct about like each student has different ways of how they learn. Like I say like myself, I'm more of like a visual person compared to like if you just give me like a big book like the size of two Harry Potter books on top of each other.
Yeah,
Like
no.
I need the balance of like reading something on like a paper or on the laptop or whatever, and also seeing something visual. And then there's some people who are like the complete opposite of me, right? It just
I
depends on
think I don't even think it's that. I don't even think it's one or the other. I think it's like it's a huge spectrum. Like there's kids that are just all around really good learners and they can learn in every learning style, but those are not the kids you have to worry about. It's the kids who happen to make it seem like they can't learn in any style, but there's trust me, there's always one learning style for every student. Whether you believe it or not, there is. As a teacher, you have to know all these frameworks and these ideas and these methods so that if you ever had a student that you feel that way, that you feel like you can help them. You just have to dig deep down into your noggin and find those research and those methods to really help that student. I mean, being a teacher isn't easy, you know. I mean, there's a reason why there's school for it, but it's more rewarding. I mean, think about it. Like, if you if you think everyone else gave up on a student because they couldn't learn, but you ended up giving it your all, and they ended up learning because of you, do you not feel like you get so much satisfaction from that?
I one day want to like um be able to like have that satisfaction because like I'm barely like in the beginning stages, barely in the beginning stages of wanting to become like an educator. So hearing like your stories and your examples really do help me, when I do finally get to my goal, to practice of like what I've learned from this program and also talking to like my fellow classmates like you. And I hope, the people who are listening to the podcast, hi. Um, I'm hoping they can also, take something from like maybe they're on your end, they've been, educators for a while, or maybe they're on my end, like, or in between, something like that. But
The spectrum.
the
That being
spectrum.
said, you already we both kind of already answered the next question I was going to ask. I was going to ask, does SAMR leave out important considerations like student engagement and creativity, which T3 framework tries to address? And I did think we said that back there in a couple minutes ago. We were like talking about how like each student learns differently, or they're more engaged in creativity, I do believe that T3 framework does a better job of addressing those issues than SAMR. Um, just because I think it's data based and SMR is not really data based. What do you think?
I kind of want to pick into both of our heads about the creativity part.
Let's do it. Let's break it down. We got 1 minute. um, I think so. Like creativity, what is creativity? Is it something that you have to do physically and artistically? Is it something you have to do in the present, like outside of technology, or is it something that you can do inside technology? Or is it both? I think it's both. I think you can definitely have creativity inside a video game like Minecraft or even in Roblox. You create a own game yourself. Being creative, the root word is to create. And using technology, you can create with technology. You can create with a piece of paper, and in the end when you create something, you're engaging with it. And I do think T3 framework tries to address that more often than SAMR, but SAMR, in a way, it's more focused on the engagement part rather than the creativity part because it's just trying to make technology be more integrated. And I mean, I could see it being both.
Yeah.
It's just the way you use SAMR. So SAMR, in the end, I think it's more defined. Like it's not defined, but it's more like it's more non in depth. Like it's not going to be detailed as much. It depends on the technology you're using. With the T3 framework, it's going to be more in depth for sure. Like it's going to have details for sure because it's involving data. Um, Depending on what your questions are for your data and your collection, you're going to get more details on how to use the T3 framework and how to use it properly with your students. And that you see more of your engagement creativity, I believe. I think I could be talking out of my butt too. It works. It's
No,
all
that's
working in my head.
no. As you're speaking, I'm like nodding my head, or yeah, like nodding my head, like yeah, like she's right.
Oh man.
No, yeah, I definitely agree with you. I feel like it's very ensuring that like technology uses foster active participation and you know oh wow, oh my god, I messed that word up. Innovative thinking.
Yeah. Innovative innovation. But I
Hmm.
think this future is going towards technology and its usage. Um, and I only reason I decided to, or I mentioned SAMR being our topic because it is a topic that it does involve technology. Like it's involved with it a lot more than I think other methods, and I think it'd be a good rival for T3. But I can I'm on the fence. I can see both T3 being really good and SAMR being really good effectively. Like I think it just depends. Yeah. Well, I don't mean to cut everything short, but it looks like we're at the end of our line. So, with that being said, we've broken down the T3 framework and the SAMR model, comparing their strengths, weaknesses, and real world impact in the classroom.
At the end of the day, both frameworks offer valuable insights, but which one works best really depends on how technology is used, not just for the sake of using it, but truly enhancing learning.
We hope you, the listener, enjoyed the discussion and maybe even came away with some new thoughts on how technology shapes education. With that being said, thanks for tuning in.
Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Give me an A. Give us an A.
Give us an A.